Hey, I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi, and you're watching Millennium News Channel 24. Today, I'm bringing you the latest updates from around the world. Today's headlines are: North Korean troops open fire on Russian allies. Barcelona airport and highways hit by flooding. PM Modi hits out at Justin Trudeau regime for Brampton temple attack. Iran planning a strong and complex counterattack on Israel, reports said. 83 billionaires supporting Kamala Harris, Trump backed by 52, Forbes report said. Grammy winner Quincy Jones, who mentored Michael Jackson, dies. Tropical storm Rafael expected to form and later threaten US Gulf Coast. More toxic than ever, Lahore and Delhi choked by smoke as pollution season begins. Russia launches Department of European Problems to deal with Europe Union. At least 10 dead after volcano erupts in Indonesia. Chinese spacecraft makes fiery re-entry into Earth, breaks apart. Yemen rebels get unprecedented outside military support, UN reports. 4,000-year-old fortified town discovered in Saudi Arabia, revealing secrets of early urban life. Russia to launch 2 private Iranian satellites into orbit. Trump is baselessly claiming the 2024 elections is being stolen from him ahead of Election Day. Myanmar junta chief to make first China visit since seizing power. Iranian woman detained after taking clothes off at university in Tehran. Japan beat China to win inaugural IIHF Ice Hockey Women's Asia Championship. Australia record third narrowest win against Pakistan in ODI history. Deng Junhui beats Evans at World's Snooker International Championship. We'll be right back after a short break. Stay tuned for more updates.
Millennium Day News is a global news network dedicated to providing high-quality coverage across a wide range of topics, including local, regional, national, and international issues. Operating 24/7, the network emphasizes inclusivity, offering a platform for diverse voices and covering essential subjects such as arts, culture, religion, education, and legal advice. Based in New York City, Millennium Day News connects communities worldwide through engaging programming that includes political discussions, sports news, health segments, and entertainment features. To ensure accessibility, viewers can access content via mobile apps, iOS and Android, Internet Smart TVs, and streaming services like Roku and Amazon Fire, as well as through IPTV and satellite networks. For more information and updates, visit their websites millenniumnews24.com and millenniumtv24.com, or follow them on social media and YouTube under Millennium News 24. As they continue to expand, viewers can look forward to a broader array of news programs that reflect the diversity of the global community. Whether you're interested in current events or cultural discussions, Millennium Day News is dedicated to keeping you informed and connected.
A friendly fire incident involving North Korean soldiers firing on Russian allies have been exposed cracks in Russia's foreign military alliances. With 12,000 North Korean troops backing Russian forces, this misfire led Ukraine to encourage North Korean defections. The Putin deal now faces scrutiny amidst escalating discord on the front lines. Flash flooding hit some areas around Barcelona, as seen in the video. Less than a week after devastating floods in Valencia, it comes as Spain's state meteorological agency placed part of the northeastern Catalonia region on red alert for territorial rains. With its capital experiencing flooding on Monday morning, video shows a flooded terminal inside El Prat airport and partially submerged cars on a highway. More than 200 people were killed in the floods, the worst in Spain for a decade. Emergency workers are continuing to comb through underground car parks and tunnels in the hope of finding survivors and recovering bodies. Spain's Prime Minister has ordered 5,000 more troops and 5,000 police officers and people from civil aviation in Valencia region as residents criticize local authorities over their response to catastrophic flooding. This came after several locations in southern and eastern Spain received up to 12 inches of rain in just a few hours of Tuesday, in what marked as the worst rainfall in Valencia in 28 years, according to the state weather agency. Authorities have restored electricity to more than 90% of homes and brought back almost half of telephone lines that had gone down. The government also authorized 100 interim civil servants to help distribute financial aid. Local authorities are facing criticism over the speed of the response and for a lack of warning in advance of the flooding. Spain Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has vowed to do whatever it takes to help those affected by the disaster. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday condemned the attack on Hindu temple in Canada in his first statement since Canada-related controversy began. Prime Minister Narendra Modi issued a very strong statement after Khalistani extremists targeted a Hindu temple in Ontario yesterday evening, making it quite clear that the PM stands for Indian across the world. Modi said, "I strongly condemn the deliberate attack on a Hindu temple in Canada. Equally appalling are the cowardly attempts to intimidate our diplomats. Such act of violence will never weaken India's resolve. We expect the Canadian government to ensure justice and uphold the rule of law," the Prime Minister posted on Twitter X. The strong condemnation by Prime Minister came after Hindu Sabha temple in Canada, Brampton, came under attack by pro-Khalistani extremists. It's the first statement by Prime Minister Modi since diplomatic tensions between India and Canada erupted last September. Videos on social media showed pro-Khalistan extremists clashing with devotees outside the temple in Brampton. Violence. Canadian Prime Minister Justice Trudeau too condemned the attack on Hindu temple but did not call out pro-Khalistani elements who have been carrying out provocative acts in his regime. Prime Minister Modi also called out Ottawa after some members of Indian consular staff were put under video and audio surveillance by Canadian authority. The government has also outrightly rejected Canada's allegations against Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Iran is preparing a counterattack against Israel with advanced warhead and weapons, the Wall Street Journal reported. Officials suggest Iran's response will be to extend beyond missiles and drones. Though the authenticity of these threats is still uncertain, this came a day after Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei vowed a harsh retaliation to Israel's October 26 attack. The WSG report also cited officials as saying that Iran isn't planning to limit its response to missiles and drones. However, it's noted it remained to be seen whether the threats are real. Earlier, Iran demonstrated its assertive stance when Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei promised a tooth-breaking response to Israel and American actions on Saturday. Kamal Karazi, a senior advisor to Khamenei, spoke to Lebanese media on Friday about the country's nuclear capabilities. He said that Iran possesses the technical ability to produce nuclear weapons and might reconsider its nuclear doctrine if faced with an existential threat. Existential threat arises, Iran will modify the nuclear doctrine, which does have a capability. 83 American billionaires are supporting Kamala Harris, whereas 52 are backing Donald Trump in the US presidential election, as per Forbes analysis. World's richest person Elon Musk has come out in support of Trump. Meanwhile, 28 billionaires have donated $1 billion or more groups backing Harris, and 36 billionaires have contributed between $50,000 to $999,000. Forbes data showed with high stakes US presidential elections just a day ahead, the stakes are high for both presidential candidates, while in terms of media endorsement, Kamala Harris may have an edge over Donald Trump. The former president has top billionaires in his corner, with Elon Musk leading the way. On election eve, there is a general consensus that the presidential races are deadlocked. The polls are exceptionally close across the country and in all the swing states: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin in the industrial Midwest, Nevada, Arizona in the West, Georgia and North Carolina in the South. While endorsement do not directly affect candidates at the poll, they play a significant role in shaping a voter's mind. This year's presidential race has seen a decline in newspaper endorsement, in a striking contrast to past elections. However, as we reach the final week until D-Day, a public declaration of support from an influential figure may play a part in voters' final decision. Kamala Harris has got more the country's billionaires backing, with 83 of them supporting Harris compared to 52 billionaires donating to Donald Trump, according to breakdown by Forbes reports. Legendary American music producer Quincy Jones has passed away aged 91. Over his 75 years long career, Jones won 28 Grammy Awards. Jones, who mentored Michael Jackson and Frank Sinatra, is best known for producing Jackson's Off the Wall and Thriller albums. He also arranged and produced songs like Fly Me to the Moon and We Are the World. Jones kept company with presidents and foreign leaders, movie stars and musicians, philanthropists and business leaders. He toured with Count Basie and Lionel Hampton, arranged records for Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald, composed the soundtracks for Roots and In the Heat of the Night, organized President Bill Clinton's first inaugural celebration, and oversaw the all-star recording of We Are the World, the 1975 charity recorder feminine release in Africa. A new tropical storm was expected to form on Monday in Caribbean and eventually threaten parts of the US southeast. Forecasters said expected to be named Rafael, the storm will begin heavy rains to Jamaica and the Cayman Islands before strengthening to a hurricane and probably hitting Cuba. Forecasters are predicting that it will bring heavy rainfall to parts of the UK, US, along with Gulf of Mexico, according to advisories from the Miami-based National Hurricane Center (NHC). A tropical cyclone warning was in effect for Jamaica and a hurricane which was in effect for the Cayman Islands. Potential tropical cyclone 18 on Monday morning was located about 220 miles south of Kingston, Jamaica. The storm had maximum sustained wind of 35 mph while moving north at 7 mph, the center said. Storm was expected to move near Jamaica by late Monday and near or over Cayman Islands on Tuesday. It could near hurricane strengthen with when it passes near the Cayman Islands. The most recent forecasts show storm could pass over western Cuba on Wednesday as a hurricane. People in Cuba and Florida Keys were among those urged to monitor the storm as it develops, while weather models suggest the center of the storm could eventually make landfall between Louisiana and western edge of the Florida Panhandle. Dry air and water temperature in the 70s Fahrenheit could cause it to rapidly weaken as it moves north. Heavy rainfall will affect the Western Caribbean with total of 3 to 6 inches and 9 inches expectedly locally in Jamaica and parts of Cuba. Flooding and mudslides are possible. We'll be right back after a short break. I'm Shweta Simar and you're watching Millennium News.
Millennium Day News is a global news network dedicated to providing high-quality coverage across a wide range of topics, including local, regional, national, and international issues. Operating 24/7, the network emphasizes inclusivity, offering a platform for diverse voices and covering essential subjects such as arts, culture, religion, education, and legal advice. Based in New York City, Millennium Day News connects communities worldwide through engaging programming that includes political discussions, sports news, health segments, and entertainment features. To ensure accessibility, viewers can access content via mobile apps, iOS and Android, Internet Smart TVs, and streaming services like Roku and Amazon Fire, as well as through IPTV and satellite networks. For more information and updates, visit their websites millenniumnews24.com and millenniumtv24.com or follow them on social media and YouTube under Millennium News 24. As they continue to expand, viewers can look forward to a broader array of news programs that reflect the diversity of the global community. Whether you're interested in current events or cultural discussions, Millennium Day News is dedicated to keeping you informed and connected.
Welcome back after the break. I'm Shweta Simar and you're watching Millennium News of the Day. Here are the latest updates. As the smoke descended over Lahore, people began to feel the familiar symptoms. First came the scratchy throat and burning eyes, then the dizziness, tightness in the chest, and the dry, racking cough. It becomes a physical ordeal just to go outdoors. In recent days, the air quality in Lahore, home to more than 14 million people, dropped to the worst level on earth, with pollution levels up to 15 times higher than is deemed healthy, and the city enveloped in a thick brown smoke. On the air quality index, health is 50. Last week, Lahore's air quality soared above 700. Over the border in India, the capital Delhi was also shrouded in the annual thick toxic smoke that marks the unwelcoming beginning of pollution season, affecting more than 25 million people, with air quality remaining in the poor, very poor category. In Delhi and Lahore, cities about 260 miles apart, local government have made promises and announced measures to prevent the catastrophic level of pollutions that have become an annual event over the past decade. But people complain that the brown smoke had arrived even earlier than usual and said all the policies are stopped. It has failed to counter. Russia has a new governmental department to deal with the European Union and NATO, the Department of European Problems. The unit already existed within Russia's foreign ministry but was previously known as the Department of Pan-European Cooperation (DOC) before it was last week renamed the much spicier Department of European Problems. According to Russian media, Maria Zakharova, Russia's foreign ministry spokesperson, told local media the name change reflected changes in the geopolitical realities, including the obvious degradation of multilateral cooperation structures in Europe. Russia's relations with Europe have been in a deep freeze since Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in early 2022. The European Union imposed sweeping sanctions on the Kremlin, confiscating Russian assets and pledging support for Ukraine. Moscow announced its withdrawal from the Council of Europe in March 2022 and in July this year suspended its participation in the Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe (OSCE) Parliamentary Assembly. At least 10 people have been killed after a volcano erupted in eastern Indonesia in the early hours of Monday. Officials have said Mount Lewatobi Laki-Laki, located on Flores Island in East Nusa Tenggara province, erupted at 11:57 local time, according to Indonesian Center for Volcanology and Geological Disaster Mitigation. Fiery lava and rocks had hit the villages about 4 kilometers from the crater, burning and damaging residents' houses. According to local officials, the eruption has affected 7 villages. Fires had occurred in residential areas due to the ejection of incandescent material from the volcano. It has raised the status of the volcano to the highest alert level, warning that a 7-kilometer radius from the crater must be cleared. We have started evacuating residents since this morning to other villages located around 20 kilometers from the crater, local officials said. Video footage is shared with Millennium by eyewitnesses show people covered in volcanic ash, rock showers and home blazes, as well as scorched aftermath of the disruption. China's Shenzhou 18 spacecraft made a dramatic return to Earth, concluding a successful 6-month mission aboard the Tiangong space station. The crew, consisting of astronauts Ye Gangfu, Li Kong and Li Guangsu, undocked from the space station before experiencing a fiery re-entry during the propulsion module broke apart. Despite the intense descent, the crew landed safely in the Dongfang area near Zhuangquan spaceport at approximately 12 p.m. EST. The Shenzhou 18 mission was notable for its extensive scientific contribution, including groundbreaking experiments in microgravity and a series of spacewalks. The astronaut conducted research on ancient microbes and other biological studies that are expected to enhance our understanding of life in space. As the capsule descended through the atmosphere, bright flames were visible as it re-entered, a reminder of the challenges of space travel. The propulsion module's disintegration raised concern, but did not affect the safety of the crew or their capsule. Recovery teams were on standby and utilized advanced infrared thermal imaging technology to locate and assist the astronauts upon landing. After exiting the capsule, the astronauts were greeted by jubilant recovery teams and quickly transported to Beijing for a thorough briefing. United Nations, November 2, 2024, Yemen's Saudi rebels are transforming themselves into a powerful military organization due to unprecedented military support from outside sources, particularly Iran and Hezbollah, according to a UN report published Friday. Since the beginning of the war in Gaza last year, the Houthis, who have controlled large swaths of war-torn Yemen for a decade, have exploited the regional situation and enhanced cooperation with the axis of resistance, which includes Iran, Hamas, and Hezbollah, the United Nations expert said. The panel noted the transformation of the Houthis from a localized armed group which limited capabilities to a powerful military organization, extending their operational capabilities well beyond the territories under their control. The rebels also benefited from training and technical assistance provided by Quds Force, the foreign operations arms of Iran Revolutionary Guards, as well as Hezbollah and pro-Iran groups in Iraq, the UN expert said. The report says the Houthis have carried out a vast recruitment project, resulting in a force that numbered 3,500,000 in mid-2024. While the panels have not been able to independently verify the number of newly recruited fighters, a large scale mobilization would be a matter of concern, it said. As per the latest developments, archaeologists have discovered a 4,000-year-old fortified town in northwest Saudi Arabia known as Al Nata, hidden within the lush walled Khyber oasis in the desert. This discovery offers a glimpse on the ancient shift from nomadic to urban lifestyles. Reports add that this said settlement, dating back over 4,000 years, showcased a unique path to urbanization and also offered insights into how early Arabian societies shifted from nomadic herding to organized urban life. Unlike the large urban centers of those regions, Al Natar reflects a process of slow urbanization where small, organized communities gradually adapted to desert life. Further, the fortified wall around the settlement indicated the need for defense against potential raids, indicating a well organized society. According to Sharlux, Al Natar role as a fortified oasis may have helped in forming interactions across the desert and laid early foundations for trade routes. Two countries have deepened ties and trade amid Russian military offensive on Ukraine and conflict in the Middle East, with space launches just one aspect of their burgeoning partnership. In continuation of the developments in Iran-Russia scientific and technological cooperation, two Iranian satellites, Konsvar and Hordod, will be launched into 500 kilometers orbit. Iran's ambassador in Moscow, Kazem Jalali, said Monday on social media. He said the launch will take place at 2:48 Tehran time using a Russian Soyuz rocket. The imaging and communication satellites were designed and built by Iran's Omid Faza company, the settlement said, and will support agriculture, environmental monitoring, and communication in remote areas. Russia has previously launched some Iranian satellites, but this is the first instance for a private sector initiative, Jalali said. There is a hope with which the launch of these two satellites, a firm and decisive first step, will be taken towards the entry of the private sector of the Islamic Republic of Iran into space sphere. The West has raised concern over Iran's fledgling space program, fearing the same technology could also be used to launch nuclear-equipped ballistic missiles. Donald Trump is reusing his 2020 playbook to baselessly claim the 2024 elections is being stolen from him and is being joined by allies, with big megaphones amplifying his falsehoods ahead of Election Day. Trump has made repeated false claims that Democrats are cheating in the election, and he's twisted isolated problems with voting leading up to Election Day, all in an effort to prime his supporters to falsely believe the election is not legitimate if he loses. This includes saying voting by non-citizens is a widespread problem. He's claimed there's no verification for overseas or military ballots. He's claimed election officials are using early voting to commit fraud. He's claimed that massive swaths of mail-in ballots are illegitimate, even as he is encouraged by his supporters to use mail voting this time around. Most importantly, Trump has claimed that the only way Vice President Kamala Harris can win the election is by cheating. The claims are baseless. It's unfortunate that he sees his path back to the White House as denigrating as a basic American institution like elections, said Millennium contributor and Republican campaign attorney who has served as general counsel for several previous GOP nominees. Election system not being reliable is extraordinarily similar to what he and his supporters were saying in 2020. 2020, Trump lost a close election and then spent 2 months trying to overturn the result. 2024, with polls signaling a razor-thin elections in 7 battleground states. Misinformation about the results, especially if the elections hinges on the results of hundreds of ballots in 1 or 2 states. Myanmar Junta leader Min Aung Yang to visit China for regional summits amid ongoing chaos and armed resistance. Myanmar junta leader Hin Aung Yang will travel to China this week to attend regional summits, state media reported. The embattled top general first visit to the influential neighbor since he seized power in a 2021 coup. The Southeast Asian country has been in chaos since the coup, including along with the Myanmar-China border with the armed resistance movement combining with established ethnic minority armies militias to wrest control of large territory from the military government. Amnesty International has called on authorities in Iran to immediately and unconditionally release a female student who has arrested after stripping to her underwear in what the organization described as public protest against harassment relating to the country's strict dress code. The incident took place after the woman, who has not been identified, reportedly had a confrontation with the members of Basij paramilitary force who ripped her handscarf and tore at her clothes inside Tehran's prestigious Islamic Azad University. Video posted to social media appear to show the woman removing her clothes and walking out on the street in her underwear. A second video appears to show the woman being bundled into a car by men in plain clothes. The student media outlet's Amir Kabir newsletter said the woman had been harassed by a banished member for not wearing a handscarf. Under Iran's mandatory dress code, women must wear a handscarf and loose-fitting clothes in public. Time for some short sports highlights. The IIHF Ice Hockey Women's Asia Championship concludes as Japan claimed the title after beating China 5-0 on Sunday at Beijing's Shougang Ice Hockey Arena. Japan took control from the outset, launching 23 shots in first period and securing an early lead with a goal. China tightened its defense in the second period, limiting Japan's scoring chances, but unable to cover the gap in the final period as China pushed hard to equalize. Errors began to mount for the home side, allowing Japan to score 4 more times and claim the championship with a 5-0 victory. The tournament, which includes China, Japan, South Korea and Kazakhstan, took place in a round-robin format over 3 days. The next edition will be hosted by Kazakhstan in 2025. Australia captain Pat Cummins scored 32 and helped his team win by 2 wickets in first ODI against Pakistan in Melbourne. This is Australia's third narrowest win against Pakistan in ODI history. Australia had defeated Pakistan by 2 wickets off last ball in 2009 ODIs in Centurion and by 2 wickets with 4 balls remaining in 2010 ODI in Perth. World Snooker International Championship in Nanjing, home favourite Ding Junhee made light work of England's 12-time world champion Renee Evans with a 6-0 victory to advance to the last 64. Evans won the world champion 10 straight times from 2005 to 2014 and shows why with this long read. But Ding responded with a brilliant combination band. He went on to take the first frame with a break of 59. The world number 9 overcame a few challenges to claim the next 2 frames for a 3-0 lead. Evans, who is ranked 3rd in the world in women's ranking, missed the routine red to leave the opportunity for the Chinese to come back to the table. The 37-year-old went on to run 69. Log in to stay updated with the latest news on our social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok at Millennium News 24. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel Millennium News 24. You can watch us on Android and iOS devices as well as on Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV and all smart TV platforms. Enjoy entertainment and latest news with us. Download the Millennium TV apps, Millennium TV USA for Android and Millennium News on Google. Thank you for being part of Millennium News 24.